Okay. I'm just gonna send this to them in response to.
Oh, here we've got Aaron. Note to panelist. There we go. They're coming in.
It's working.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey there.
Good morning.
Hi.
Wouldn't be a Zoom meeting without some technical difficulties.
It was the same thing, just a different email. I don't understand.
I think I just figured it out. So if you guys joined from the link I sent you, like by email or by on the website or something, you just joined as an attendee, in which case you can't, like, the meeting doesn't start until I officially like start the webinar. But if you join from the Zoom, the email that you get from Zoom, which might be going to your spam folder, then you automatically join as a panelist. So I just realized, I think that's what was happening.
It seems to work that
Yeah.
way.
We got it. I just want to let you all know that I have a plumber that I have to meet. If he comes during this time, I have to meet with him. It's one of those window things, but I apologize. It's like a situation. So
Is it related to the storm?
no, it's
Well, that's good.
yeah, thankfully no. So how's everyone doing?
Good.
Excellent. So just to catch everybody up on what happened in the last meeting, we had the city that we were speaking to, and they kind of gave us some information that shifted our focus of this committee, which looks like it might be truncating the timeline a little bit, depending on how we end up proceeding. But we had talked about originally doing some inquiry and research into multi-family housing, and after talking to the city and food waste prevention, and after talking to the city, they said those efforts are kind of low on their priority list, and that getting the word out to the public through means that we've already created, like our slideshow presentation, would be a lot more impactful. And I don't know, did you all see the slide that they sent, that they shared with us?
Yeah, and I already inserted it into the slide presentation, and we had a meeting and everybody was happy with that.
Yay!
Mhm.
I know we talked about some stickers that go on the bin. Is that correct as well?
Yep, I got those stickers.
Okay.
They're right here on my desk. So these could be they're like the decals that can be added to like the top of someone's, food waste or yard debris bin.
That's great.
Anyways, it's hard to see, but they're there.
It gets blurry.
I know.
So let's just slow down for a minute. Is everybody following along with this? Does everybody remember that? Or is everyone feeling good about this direction? Are there any questions or issues that anyone wanted to bring up? Aaron.
Yeah, hi everybody. Sorry I missed the last meeting. Thank you for the notes, Mitra. They were wonderful. And so just so I'm caught up, so where we're at is we're leaving multifamily behind because of various barriers. And really, it seems like the focus moving forward for this committee really is on single family and maybe some commercial, and really about communication using existing materials. Is that all fair to say?
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So thanks again for the notes. They were perfect. I appreciate them.
I think basically, I think this is great, even though feels like a derailing of what we intended to do originally, to learn this and to learn that we as a sustainability committee and commission can plug in a way where we've already developed a resource, this slideshow, and we've already kind of created a semblance of an infrastructure on how we're going to be using the resource in the community. And there's a very clear way that we can impact this issue by including information about that. And are we planning on taking those stickers, those decals around when we, so Devin, you're on the Education and Outreach Committee. Do we envision taking those decals around if we're doing that presentation in a physical location to give to people, or is there another way that we can disseminate those?
I mean, there's a pile of them, but not like a gigantic pile. But that was kind of the plan, is that they would go into the materials for tabling or for speaking, either type of event that we'd be having. We would take the stickers and maybe have some, answer questions. And then we've been discussing kind of with Danielle, with staff, and then also kind of with the Education Committee and Outreach Committee, as well as like, can we get buckets, a certain amount to hand out, like for under your sink or counter or whatever, those type of things, as a material that could kind of go with the sticker in a way. Maybe that's all sort of being researched. Like, is there money for that? Is there we had a meeting yesterday. Was that yesterday? I don't know what day that was.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday was a long day. With the mayor and Emily Semple, and they were super excited about figuring out some funds and some pathway to getting a composting container for inside the house to people. I know Karen was excited about that too.
I have a suggestion, not to cut you off, but
no, you're not.
So there's recycling roundups where they're focusing on plastic containers. So my mom always just used like those large yogurt containers, and that would be one stone. So you're taking a thing that you would round up for recycling and you're just using it, like those big Nancy's yogurt containers. You can also use there's like certain cat food, they're like buckets with lids that they open up halfway.
Kitty litter too.
Yeah.
Litter bucket.
Maybe it's kitty litter. I don't have a cat. I got a hold of one of them for collecting bike tubes for an upcycling project, and it was a really handy container because it's kind of a smaller square bucket with a handle, and it has like a little thing that pops up.
Flippy lid.
So maybe we could suggest people use those that they already have in their house, and that way they're just like, reuse, recycle. Also, a thought came to mind, and I don't know if this would pan out, but this could be an opportunity we could table. So Lane County Waste Management tables at the home show, which is happening March 8th, 9th, and 10th this spring. And they usually invite a partner to table with them. And I could reach out and see if it could be a possibility that maybe a representative of the Sustainability Commission could come and do some iteration of our slideshow. Like maybe, I don't know how we would, has the Education and Outreach Committee talked about what that might look like in a tabling context? I know we did it at that neighborhood event, but how did that work, translating the slideshow into a tabling like resource?
It wasn't really the slideshow. It was more, and we didn't have a lot of materials, and maybe I don't even remember all of what we had much, but one of the most important things we had was the Danielle, what's that called, with the little dots, and people put the dots on the
an intercept survey.
Sorry. I remember like almost nothing.
Idea. Yeah.
There's like an intercept survey where people come by and there's categories on some pieces of paper, and what they do is they put dots on like things that they're interested or concerned about, and it's more of and then I would recommend 2 people going if this is something we end up doing and not just one, because it's a lot of talking and a lot, I mean, it may or may not be, but there's a potential for needing to like go to the bathroom and and stuff like that. There's a lot of, managing a table, but it was really positive, and it was more people coming and asking, I know we've said this in meetings, but like, what's the Sustainability Commission? I mean, that's really like one of the biggest questions that is asked. And then how can I do this and how can I do that? And that, I think you're right, that's a great opportunity to distribute stuff like the stickers and maybe I think I really like your food waste container ideas. I think it could go hand in hand with like an offering as far as of a bucket that somebody could take home right then and use it. I think we could, maybe what we do is have an idea. If we do a tabling thing, one of the things we could have is an example of have the Nancy's yogurt container there and try to find one of those kitty litter buckets as an example and go, you could use these, but also have maybe an option like, don't have these.
Yeah.
But
Karen?
what were the dates? I'm sorry. Could you say the dates again? March?
It's March 8th, 9th, and 10th. And I would have to check in with Angie to see if that's a possibility, because it's like they usually invite people, and I had heard that they were looking for someone, but I'm not sure. That's not usually, I don't know if it's initiated on the other, but I can inquire.
And what was the name of the partnering?
Lane County Waste Management. And I do think they focus on food waste diversion in their spring show, I'm pretty sure. Karen, did you have a comment?
Well, 2 things. Typically the master recyclers will table on that sticker. Might be something that they can give out too, as well as other tabling. But I was looking through my stuff and I don't see it. Did you send a copy of what the sticker is going to be and the city's? I missed something on this.
Oh, you haven't seen the slide? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't see the slide. Did you email it to us?
Danielle did, I believe. Did you have your hand up too, Danielle? I think you're muted. Oh,
I can look through my email and forward it to you guys what the slide looks like. I don't have a digital copy of the sticker. But I love the idea of tabling at the home show. If it doesn't work out with Lane County Waste Management, another table that you might be able to tap onto is the Lane Pollution Prevention Coalition, which it's like a bunch of partners, including the city and El Rapa and a couple others that might be a good fit. And my last idea was we could adapt the Intercept survey to sort of match what this committee is researching. It could be a question like, what barriers do you face in composting at your house? And you could have some different options like no bucket, it stinks, it's too hard to bring the bin down. Like we could have a bunch of different options, and that could just be a qualitative data point to help bring back to staff and council, like, this is what we heard.
I love that. I love that. Love it. And I also love your idea, Devin, of bringing the example containers. And I saw there was another roundup happening, so maybe we could actually get a hold of some containers, or we could just save some, or like do a call out for some and see if we could bring some of those and just give them away. They're really handy though, because the big yogurt containers, I mean, they have a lid that completely closes, so you don't get any odor out of that. And you can use it as many times as you want, and I don't feel like I'm tempted to dump that thing in like that container, because it's obviously plastic, and we just have this like very clear, like whenever I tried to use the ceramic one or the metal one that I had, because it's reusable and it got gross, I always was really wanting to use one of those bags, which we know now is not something we want to do. And it'd be cool if we were tabling, because we could talk to people about that, because we were wondering about it, we know now why we can't use those bags. And so that could be something we could just communicate to people, because it's a point of frustration. So, Karen, sorry.
I just found it. Sorry, I just got back from Mexico and I'm kind of like playing catch up. And so I saw that slide. You did send it, so don't worry about sending it again. Thank you.
Thanks. Oh, the plumber. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I have to check. I just have to do some guidance. I will be right back.
One thing about the containers is, I put my metal one in the dishwasher, right? And you can put, the thing that's nice about the Nancy's ones is you can put those in the dishwasher as well. You can't put the kitty litter thing in the dishwasher. That thing is big. Or even the cat, if it's a cat food one, those are almost like I don't know if it's 5-gallon. They're probably a little smaller than that, but those are pretty big. But yeah, we could, ways to keep it clean, like run it through the dishwasher. You don't have to have a giant bucket under your sink. You can have a nice small one. And, not everyone is a teenager, but that's what they're for, is dumping it out in the outside bin, as far as I'm concerned. But
I like the idea of having some different options and just being available to talk through people's challenges. Like, I feel like the compost bucket in your kitchen and how you clean it and how you dump it out, like you kind of find what the system that works for you. And so to
Right,
have
and
some different
yeah.
options and help people troubleshoot, like, oh, you only have a small space. How about the small Nancy's container? Oh, you don't like walking out that often? Take a bigger one. And you could spray it out with your hose, or, there are some different ways you could help them troubleshoot.
And some people, I mean, I don't do this, but like put a bowl on the counter and dump it when they're done. It's like a clean as you go kind of approach to it. I mean, I could do something as simple as like bringing a bowl. You could just put it in this bowl. Sometimes I don't usually bring them home from the supermarket, but anything that's like a plastic bag, like say I bought celery and it's in a plastic bag, which makes me crazy, right? But there you have it. And I'll like use that plastic bag while I'm cooking to put all the ends in and then go dump that in the compost and throw the bag away while I'm out there, or on a good day, I'll rinse out the bag and put it in my Recycle Plus. It's not too nasty. But anyway, I think there's a lot of fun things that could do. One thing maybe while we're waiting for Mitra, we could consider, if we do want to do a March tabling, what does that involve from the rest of the commission? Right, Danielle, like, do we need to get that approved by the commission that we would do an event? And is it an all commission event? It doesn't necessarily have to filter through education and outreach. I don't think, for any reason. You're muted.
Do we have a tabling kit? I mean, I tabled last year with Jan and she pulled some stuff together. I just wonder if we have like a kit. Like if we have a box of stuff that maybe Danielle could keep in her big, gigantic office or something that we could check out.
I mean, I have some leftover stuff from last year, from when you tabled, Karen. It includes like a 1-pager about like what the Sustainability Commission is, a small sign that says Sustainability Commission. So I think and then now we have the food waste decals and potentially an intercept survey. I mean, I think that's kind of enough. I think we do need to get a vote of approval from the full commission, which we could do at the next meeting. And I don't think this necessarily needs to filter through the education and outreach committee, but it might be good at the next commission meeting to, unless people from this committee are available to do the tabling, like, is there a need to recruit more people? I know the home show is long, like it's 3 full days. So what's the time commitment that might be needed?
And is it a whole commission ask, or is it an education outreach committee ask and a food waste ask? Like, I would volunteer to say that we should just ask the whole commission. Yeah. Okay.
I think
Like-
that's fine. I mean, the charge of the outreach and education committee was to develop materials and like sort of create a strategy for where to table and do the presentation. But I think the idea was always that anyone on the commission could help staff or whatever, like that tabling event. So
All right.
When we do a tabling like this, are we going to represent an issue like composting, or are we always representing sort of all the issues, all the umbrella issues that Sustainability Commission touches? And I'm sorry, because I'm still new and just trying to learn. When we go to something like this, what do we have ready? And what are we usually talking about? Is it focused or more broad? And then the other comment I have is it sounds like maybe some of the resources we have are limited, the stickers, and maybe if we're able to get any of the buckets, and maybe are there some questions as we're talking to folks we want to ask them to find the folks that could best use the resources we have available, right? Only giving stickers to folks in single family, or I don't know what exactly it is, but just a thought to best use our resources.
If I could make a quick comment to Erin, is that cool?
Yeah.
Erin, this is new for all of us. I mean, this is brand new. So like this slideshow it's not even done being developed yet, and it was worked on last year, and I think for the first time. And the first tabling event that I'm aware of in a very long time happened last September at Southeast Neighbors Picnic. So I don't think there's necessarily rules, about what I mean, we just need to not go off the rails, but like, like if this is an event where we're focusing on food waste prevention, then we're focusing on food waste prevention. I think that can just be as a decide as you go and what's appropriate for the venue.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Karen, do you want to?
Yeah, I think that it would be great if the education committee, since this seems like that's where that lies, would put together the tabling stuff in a box with a inventory list of what should be in there. And we can amend it as we add more stuff, and maybe a little general information about anything we need to know about talking about it or setting up a table, or I don't know. I just think it would be great to have some consistency instead of just a box of some stuff. And that just seems like it applies to the education committee.
I think that's definitely like it was on our agenda last meeting to make a list of materials, and we've been discussing materials. My only comment to that, and it kind of is like harkens back to my feelings about the September, is we're going to have to, everything won't be perfect when we start out doing these things. But now everyone is kind of more aware of like, okay, we need this or we need that, and it's being worked on. But I wouldn't want the education committee's ability to get something together in a timely fashion to disrupt our ability to go table at this event if it's a potential possibility. Or if it's a possibility. That would be my comment, is like, I don't want to wait on knowing it goes a little slow sometimes. I don't want to wait on that committee for us to get a message out.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something, Danielle?
yeah, I agree. I mean, I think we have the basic stuff already. And I think to answer your question, Erin, I think the two talking points for this event is, one, the through line for all of the events that you guys do, which is, who is the Sustainability Commission? How can the public interact with it? And then the second is food waste in homes. And that might be the consistent thing, is that it's always about what is the Sustainability Commission? And then there's some topic of focus. This one happens to be food waste. Other topics that had been floated in other conversations is like, maybe there's one time a focus on like EVs, like the topic to highlight or whatever could depend on what event you're tabling at. I think sustainability community broadly, it's like so many different things. And I don't think the table needs to try to address all of it. In fact, I think it's better if you zero down, like, this is what we're talking about: food waste, understanding the barriers, and helping people do it, helping people overcome those barriers.
Yes, I wonder, thank you. I wonder if because it's the home show, maybe there are some other issues other than just waste prevention and composting that would be appropriate, especially, Oregon Department of Energy is working on and about to release programs, Homes and Here. Right, and that could help a lot of folks out, get heat pumps in their home or improve efficiency. So maybe thinking about, especially with the other committee, and maybe this can be a topic in the meeting next week, is is there any information that would be helpful at a home show related to what we're working on right now, and wanting to communicate about?
Yeah, I mean, Erin, there's like a ton of stuff, right? In terms of incentives for people to make energy upgrades to their homes. And I think a lot, I mean, the latest I heard is like, we're still waiting on the rules for Homes and Here's. Is that correct? You might know more than me. But there's also a lot of incentives through eWeb. There's incentives through Energy Trust of Oregon. There's incentives through the state. There's a lot of different, I guess what I'm saying is, like, from our program internally, we don't have like a one pager on that yet.
Okay.
That might be something worth, if you guys can research, like, does eWeb have a flyer that we could hand out? Does ETO, does Oregon Department of Energy? Like, if you can research what might be out there already, that would be a great thing to add to the table.
Yeah, I will take that on. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I agree, but we need to be sure that we're staying within the scope of this committee. When we're thinking about, I know it's a tabling event, but like, does it fall? Like, do we want to reach out to building decarb and say, hey, do you guys want to participate? And not be like doubling up on work for something that doesn't have to do with this. I mean, it has to do with the whole commission, agreed, but this is a very specific committee, right? So, Erin, I love your whole thing, but I don't want you to like go crazy on something that is really part of another committee work. Or does that make sense? I mean, I'm not saying.
I'm just thinking about it because I'm on that committee too. And
right.
So,
yeah.
And so, just thinking about how to move the needle for the community.
Yep.
And
Yep.
food waste is certainly a way to do that. Energy is a big deal though, and not lost on anyone here, I'm sure. Just trying to make the best use of all of our volunteer time, if we're all gonna do something like this.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm just saying, maybe roping in the other committee, and discussing at that meeting that you have. Is there
There's a
meeting?
meeting next week. There's a meeting next week, although there is a external speakers coming, so I don't know how much time there's going to be to troubleshoot this, but it could be a quick, like, Erin, if you're able to do some research, since you're on both committees, like, if you're able to do kind of the legwork of identifying, here's like 2 or 3 handouts that I think are good, vet them by that committee, sharing that, like, we'd like to share this at the home show, just kind of get their stamp of approval.
Another thing we could think about doing is, if we don't have an active volunteer that's able to table at that time, we could put a video screen with the slideshow running so that people could view it. Or do you think that would be?
That seems like a tech thing that might be beyond this capacity, I think. I'm not aware of like an extra monitor we have, and I'm not good at tech stuff to like try to coach someone else how to set that up.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of speaking notes that go with it as well.
Okay.
So if it was made into a video, which is something that Education Outreach talked about, making a video, it has not happened.
Oh, I just meant like a slideshow on a monitor. 'Cause we have the slideshow that's made, and it could be going on. No, okay.
I don't think anybody finished
I think that's
things
too
by
much.
then.
Okay. So what did I miss? I'm so sorry. Did you
Me?
guys?
What did we talk about?
What did we talk about? We talked about ideas for the intercept survey. We talked about the talking points and ideas about like continuing on what you were saying right when you left, which was like bringing the containers and showing people what they could do, and talk about how you can like put them in the dishwasher, not the kitty litter one, but like the smaller size containers, the metal ones, the ceramic, you can wash them in the dishwasher if they start to get too gross. And so that eliminates a need for a bag, kind of thought process there. So we were talking about there could be who and what is the Sustainability Commission, and then focus on like the intercept survey and food waste prevention in single family homes kind of idea, with the barrier intercept thing and all that. That's kind of what we were talking about. And then Aaron brought up how great it would be, which it would be great to, like, since it's a home show, like what other focuses could there be maybe, but outside of this committee, as far as like maybe building decarb would want to jump on and so give some information about incentives or whatever, you guys wanted to do as well. I think
And
that's
even
kind
if, yeah, even if this doesn't come together for this event, because I know the timeline is really tight, and it does depend on whether we can find a partner to allow us to plug into it. It could be something that we could have on our radar for like the next time. Like, this is an event where we can engage with the general public. It's a really good setting with a good market of folks that would be very receptive to, I think, this information that we could have. So maybe we could just feed the idea over to the Education and Outreach Committee and prepare materials to plug into this type of event, because they do happen every fall and spring, I believe. That, and another thing could be like the county fair, or like you said, that we could visit Rotary clubs, or neighborhood meetings, or neighborhood events. But having, like, we have the slideshow, and how does that translate, and how would we bring the most optimal value for the committees and the Sustainability Commission in this in-person way, I think is a good question to explore. And I love what you all have come up with the like getting information that we could plug back into one of the committees, or talking about some simple misunderstandings or obstacles, removing obstacles for people, that are very simply done if you just engage in a conversation. So I will definitely reach out to Angie and see if that's a possibility, because that would determine that one path. And then we could see about, what was the other booth you said, Danielle? It was like,
It was the Lane County Pollution Prevention Coalition or something, and someone on who's just down the office from me, she's sort of helping put that booth together. So do you want me to wait till you hear back from Angie, or do you want me to ask her?
I mean, we could just ask, I don't know. Okay, I have another thing I need to disclose, is that I'm also the Fix It Fair coordinator for the Eugene Toolbox Project, and I'm hosting a Fix It Fair at that event, the home show. And I work for Viking Sewing, and I'm going to be, I don't know if I could actually staff the booth. So I'm sorry, I don't mean to be one of those people who is like, oh, here's this idea, but everybody else has to do the work.
That's okay. Well, let's nail down what the ask is. Like, okay. So are we proposing to just spend like one day of the home show tacking on to the
I could find out.
Sure.
So my intention would be to reach out to Angie and say, hey, I'm a sustainability commissioner as well, which you may know already, and I'm part of the food waste prevention committee, and we would love to plug in if there's an opportunity to talk about these things and do these things. So we want to be clear about like what we'd be doing. So we could hand out the stickers, talk about the containers, remove some or talk about some obstacles, like the containers is one, the bags and compostable stuff is another one. And was there another one that just letting people know that they can put this stuff in there, which we can use the sticker in the slide to clarify. Even if we print out that slide that was provided by the city and just have it there so people can see visually, because people absorb information in a lot of different types of ways.
That's a good idea. I could print that sign onto like a foam board that would be, you know, nicer to look at.
And then we could also talk about the Sustainability Commission, and we could talk about well, I mean, I could just A, is there space and would they be willing to have us? And B, would they only want us in respect to this food waste prevention, or would they be interested in having other committees plug in and talk about some stuff? And then if those two things are a no for Blaine County Waste Management, maybe we could just reach out and make the same ask to the other booths that you have.
Okay, well, so do you want to go ahead and email Angie and just let us know what you hear back from her?
Yeah.
And then from there, how many people do you think we need from the commission to be present on the booth? Is it like?
Well, so okay, the hours of the show are, I think, noon to 9 p.m. on Friday, 10 to 8 p.m. on Saturday, and 10 to 5 p.m. on Sunday. So depending on whether they'd want us for just one day or like that, it's a lot of hours.
Yeah. I think the ask should be to Angie, like, could the commission just come, you know, have our small little display for one day or even half a day? I mean, I think it might be realistic that maybe 3 or 4 commissioners would probably be willing to do this.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I don't think it's gonna be possible to do like all 3 days.
Yeah. Okay.
And I know the way that the lane pollution prevention, the way their table works at the home show is they have a wheel, they have all their different organizations' signs, and they just kind of work in shifts, but sharing the broad message, like everyone's sharing the broad message. So I don't know if for that booth you'd be able to just like have your own little temporary display that would only be there for a few, you know what I mean?
It depends on what, so I'm just, my point of not clarity in this ask is I don't know exactly how Lane County Waste Management, I do know that she said she invites a partner to table with them, and I don't know how that looks on their end, whether it's like one partner can be there the whole time, or if they are willing to have multiple partners talking about different subject matter, and like, so that the question I would ask her, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, more info needed. You may have missed this, but we do need to get a vote, I think, of approval at the next commission meeting, which shouldn't take long, just like, so I'll include that in the agenda.
We'll have to clear the path for that first and make sure it's a possibility, and we would have
to have a very clear ask, like clear on what the thing is going to be. I wonder, since there's a little more time, if we want to flesh out what that intercept survey would be, because then just since we're in this working group right now might be a good time to do that. So if the question is like, what do you guys think of the question being, what barriers do you face in composting at your house?
And one could be, I didn't know it was available to me.
Oh. Okay.
And then we have the obvious vermin and smell. And I don't know where fruit flies lie in that range because they're kind of both. They don't smell, actually, I don't know.
Vermin, fruit, but they're kind of, yeah. Okay, fruit, I'll just write them all down and then we can.
Okay, organize them into categories. Aaron?
Yeah.
Maybe a question about what kind of residence they live in, single family, multifamily.
Oh.
Very good. Yeah, so that would be the question of like, is it available to me in my residence? And then we could say what kind of residence you live in. And we know already that some multifamily housing residences don't have it available, and it's at the discretion of the landlord. And wasn't there like something we identified where residents could pressure their landlord to look into getting composting or something? Does anyone remember?
They could request it from their landlord, but it's a tough ask because somebody has to manage it and it gets
Right.
messy and it's contaminated and it whatever. I don't know.
And the other option for them would be to bring
And
it directly
educate
to
employees.
Rexius. Was that it?
I'm just gonna share my screen.
Okay.
Well, and another issue is cost, because if you have a curbside, a home on a curbside costs an extra $5 a month or something.
Oh, okay. I did not realize that.
Well, yeah, you have to pay for it.
Container is another one. And is that cost the same for all carriers? Do you know, Karen?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know what, it's a yard debris container.
Right.
And see, that's the other thing is that, on that sticker, I don't know if that was a generic sticker for love, food, not waste. And it doesn't really reflect the yard waste portion of that. So I'm not.
Well, I think the whole point is to put that sticker on the yard waste bin.
Yeah, but it
Right.
should also say yard waste on it. I mean, I don't think that that's a really great sticker.
That's not the sticker. The slide you saw is just it's a PowerPoint slide that's going into the.
Oh, I see.
The sticker. Let me try to show you the sticker again.
So Danielle, I think if you get rid of your blurry background thing, you'll be able to show the sticker.
Oh, it does say plant trimmings. But
Yeah.
that also includes
Try
yard
that.
waste.
There you go.
I mean, it says it's a really complicated slide. I don't know.
Are you looking at the sticker I'm showing you? Because this is the
No,
sticker
hold
that
on a
I
minute.
It's hard because you're tiny because of the.
We're sharing.
Let me stop share.
I can't see that. That's just verbiage.
I know. I'm trying to stop share.
Stop it.
We're making you do so many things at once.
Stop it.
Oh my God. I hate Zoom. Stop share. There we go. Okay. There we go. Can you see it?
That's very clear.
Yeah.
What does it say under no? I can't read that little stuff.
It says no liquids, no paper, no pet waste, no to-go containers, no garbage, food and yard waste only.
Yeah, well, the no liquids is a really bizarre thing too. Because liquid comes off of your compost. If you put stuff in your compost bin, it kind of like fruit or something, and you end up with a thing full of liquids. That's kind
I
of.
think don't like pour drinks to it. Maybe not like it will liquefy, but don't just dump liquids in there. Maybe
like your coffee, whatever, from you're getting out of your car and you've got like a full cup of cold nasty coffee and you open your yard waste bin and dump it in, right?
Yeah.
Just pour it on the ground. Pour it in your
pour it down your sink. Like I think most people don't put liquid in their trash can either. You dump it down your sink. So
But
Unless
this,
it's oil.
this-
Which can oil go?
yeah, that's a good question.
Where does oil go? Isn't
It's
that
not- I don't think it goes like oil. You can't. I don't think you can put oil in the compost bin.
Right.
like bacon grease? That would go in your trash in like a can.
Well, I don't know if they put it on there, but in my old neighborhood, if you let it solidify, you could put it in. Like a bacon grease, which is not a liquid at room temperature usually. It can be depending on what you put in it, but it's kind of like butter, right? It'll solidify and then you could put it in, but like no, like cooking oils and all that stuff are not supposed to go in there. But it doesn't say that.
I mean, this would be good because that could be a question that could come up for people. So I mean, that sticker seems pretty good. Okay, so what we were brainstorming categories or obstacles for people to use their yard waste. So we had, what did we have already? We had, okay, vermin, smell, not available to me, cost, don't have a container, unsure what is compostable. Oh, good, that's clear. Gross, or is smell / gross maybe.
That's so funny because it's got to go somewhere. It's not like if you don't compost,
I know, that's
just
always
magically
mine.
disappears. The same that was the same thing with recycling. You know, it sits in your garbage, which is worse.
I know. Wait, so what's like challenging to bring to the bin or what? Like
That's a good one because yeah, maybe it's
how would you
annoying.
phrase that? Annoying to carry it out separate from my garbage or what? That's
We
my
could say-
mom's reason. She was like, it's too hard to bring it out to the bin. I'm like, you're already bringing out your trash.
Well, it's true because I mean, so if you have a small container, it fills up almost daily depending on the size
Yeah.
of the production. And so having to bring something out every day versus a bag of trash, which maybe is less frequently, it is an obstacle because my husband and father-in-law, when we were doing it at this house we're at now, that was one of their obstacles too, the fruit flies and that.
So how would you say that? Is this phrased right?
You could just
Okay.
say transport or barriers in transporting to bin or something. Barriers.
Right. Do not go out of the house every day. And then if it's not sitting in your compost bin, which, you know, it should be a closed container that's not getting fruit flies. It's sitting in your open garbage can and that's getting all the fruit flies and stuff from your food waste. It's just, the arguments are really bizarre.
Well,
we live in a crazy thinking world.
Well,
So
that's
our fruit flies, we had it one of those bins that had little holes in it with a like a charcoal filter, and so
Yeah.
fruit somehow were getting in it, but they might be kept out if you use like a yogurt container that had a lid perhaps. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I've looked it up on the city of Eugene, their recommendations for what to do with grease, and if we want a talking point, it's in the chat. I put
Okay.
Can you say what it is?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It says, how should I dispose of used cooking grease? You should never pour used cooking grease down your drain. Grease is one of the leading causes of sewer blockages. Grease should be collected in tin cans or glass jars, and after it cools, disposed of in your trash. You like
Okay.
that? That's a good
Got
one.
it.
Okay.
Like, what? Like, it's just
You can
so-
run a cell phone and you can't figure out how to recycle and compost. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this is a good start. Does someone want to take this on to wordsmith it and perfect it a little more?
So this would be the thing where they put the dots next to it.
Yeah. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll like put this question on a bigger foam poster board, and then I'll have all of the different barriers have their own slot with room underneath for dots.
Recyclable foam. Just curious what kind of foam it is.
It's who did the tabling at the
I know. I'm just
yeah. somewhere. Did I get that stuff back from you guys? Yeah, it's okay.
I'm not
Maybe-
sure what you need wordsmithed.
Okay.
I mean, you're gonna, it just seems like, because we did something like this at the neighborhood thing where we had these boards and then we put something on top of there, like what are your favorite sustainability issues, and people got to put ticks in there or whatever. I can't remember how we did it. So are you proposing making a individual little boards that say this and then people put their score on there or what?
I think that's the idea. Yeah, dots.
Oh, dots, right, that's what we did. Why can't we just use a erasable board where people just do ticks? I mean, you put dots up there and then what? Do you throw the board in the garbage or?
That's, yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean,
Yeah,
We could do like, I mean, I worry with a marker board, it's like, it gets a rate, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's fine. I don't know if you guys can see, but I have, and now you're gonna see my messy office. There's I have a marker board right there.
it ends up looking like crap, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just not as, I mean, you know, there is the waste component, but there's also like something being visually attractive so that to draw people into your booth.
So is it just gonna be poster board or something? And then every time we do it, we just put up a new poster board or?
Well,
You know-
you can in the foam board, you can peel off the stickers and reuse it. So like potentially you could reuse this same intercept survey at
Oh, I
the
see.
neighborhood association event in the summer.
you know, we could take, if we have a cork board, we could print out the questions on that could be dangerous. I was gonna say we could use tacks and people could just stick tacks in next to them. But that's reusable if we just print it out on pieces of paper and put it in categories, and we could.
Oh, you know what we did for the neighborhood association? It wasn't actually foam, it was pieces of paper that were laminated.
Do we still have those? Oh, you mean the questions? Okay.
We still have the questions, but they would be this is a new question, but
And then
that was
people
less wasteful than the foam board.
Yeah, and people can actually use dry erase markers to just draw right on those laminated pieces of paper.
Mhm.
And I think we could reuse those. We could just keep the laminated pieces of paper if we wanted to. We could even mix and match the issues, you know. We could take one as a laminated piece of paper and then people could mark it with a dry erase pen. That could be counted and wiped off. And then we could, in the future, use those same pieces at different tabling events. But we couldn't, you know. Yeah. Does that make sense? Karen, what are your thoughts on that?
Me?
Part of the thing is that, you know, I have a hard time with this because there's nobody like managing it. And you have different piles. This is a pile of questions about composting. That's why I'm saying it would be great to have a tabling kit with these things organized. And I, again, think that that should be a project for the education committee to take on and create a tabling box. And that should be,
That's a great idea.
I mean, I'm not trying to pass the buck here, but I'm just trying to keep the silos consistent.
Well, for the purposes of this committee, what we could do is create those paper laminated, gather the information if it becomes available to us at the home show. Then we could tally up and we could include it in a report that we give back to the city and present to the commission and to the city council about, you know, we did a survey at the home show and gathered these information about why people aren't composting using their yard waste bin. Devin?
I got a couple things because one, going back, one thing we do when I've like run like a million camps and stuff like that is you take a dry erase board and you make a grid on it with a Sharpie. Okay. And you can write all your categories and things like that with the Sharpie. It doesn't get erased. And then you give people the dry erase marker and they mark in the areas so it doesn't end up looking like a total shit show board by the end, because it's just the tick marks that can be erased and re-put back on. And you still have a table and a grid, and then you can remove that with like there's alcohol or whatever. You can get this Sharpie back off. It isn't there forever. You just can't dry erase it off. So that's one thing that's actually really, really simple and kind of fast to do. When it doesn't involve printing anything out or anything, it's still one board with a couple markers, and you've made it ahead of time, and you can reuse it as much as you want. So
What about a little chalkboard? Just have a little chalkboard and then put one question on there or something like this. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, that again is like, okay, you got to buy the little chalkboard and chalk gets all over the place. And I don't
Right.
see that's like an improvement necessarily. But just saying, like, you can make a dry erase board look, and just dry it off, and your whole thing is still there. You just don't have the tick marks anymore. So that was just an idea I had. And then to Karen's point, like Karen, I said earlier, the Education Outreach Committee is working on this. Like, they are working on a tabling supplies. It's in the agendas. We've been talking about it. Like, we talk about putting the buckets in our tabling supplies. So there's a lot of crossover, but like developing specific theme things I think should come from this committee. I mean, this is what we work on, and they're not going to be able to figure that out. Like, it's more general, right? So we could have, maybe there's different boxes. Like, okay, here's the box, here's the decarb box, here's the food waste. And if somebody's doing a thing, they're like, oh, I'm going to grab 3 boxes, or I'm going to grab, that was.
I really like this model of outreach because we can keep the topics very relevant and related to what the city council is focusing on. And so, I do like that there is a home and organization and management on the back end happening with the Education and Outreach Committee, but I also really like that this is something actionable, and it does really fit with the purpose of the commission, which is to be this two-way communication between the city council and the general public about sustainability, where we're gathering information and delivering it to them, and we're also communicating back like clarification to the general public about what the city council and the city is doing. So I love it. Okay, action items. I'm going to reach out to Angie. I will communicate that back to you, the answer. Did someone want to wordsmith I think the only topic that you wrote down, Danielle, that needed is the very last one. And I just think if you need to drop off. Okay, bye, Erin, thanks. Just taking off the frequency at the end, because you had used that word earlier in the sentence. But I think that was probably good. The frequency required to transport it out to my bin, or frequency or barriers, or let's see, because there could be other barriers. You could just other barriers, or we could just say other.
What if you just say like barriers to collection in the house, or you know what I mean? Like, it kind of goes with the container.
Oh, and one could be my family won't do it, like other people. Yeah, this is good. This all looks great to me.
You're
And so
muted.
the other, we would have.
I don't think you should say gross. I think you should say smells. Just say smells.
The gross factor is, like, if you put it like that, is a barrier, because some people just are grossed out by.
Oh, I see. That's a different issue. Grossed out and smells are different.
Yeah.
You make it like, say, high gross factor odors or something like that.
Whatever.
No, I want to keep it kind of like more common
Fun.
language. Like, I don't want to make this complicated language. I think another one could be my mom's reason was like, it's just like your dad and I, like, we don't generate that much. We don't generate enough stuff to make it worth it. I'm like,
Don't
you
think
probably
they-
do.
Yeah,
But that was her.
don't feel it's necessary.
Doesn't she eat? Don't they eat?
Yeah, and they eat a lot of vegetables too. I'm like, it does add up, Mom. But she has this tiny, tiny thing, and she's like, it fills up so big. I'm like, just get a bigger one.
So this could be our talking points at this booth is gathering this information, talking about the bins, talking about the compostable bags and containers not going in there and why that is. And then literally just telling people the facts about why they do need to, no matter how much they think it's necessary. Just like a basic, like, do you know that food in the landfill is creating this like one fact, that an impact fact is creating this amount of carbon emissions, or what is the number X amount of contributor to carbon emissions in the city of Eugene or whatever, like a simple fact. So we could have, it's just very clear. Why can't we use compostable bags and containers? It says compostable. Well, this is the answer to that. And then I don't have the ability to have a container. Well, here's some containers. So we have, and then like, well, why is this necessary? I don't feel it's necessary. Well, this is why, because of this one fact that we're going to share with you. And then,
But you could really just say, organic material creates methane gas, and short mountain landfill is the largest emitter of methane gas in the entire county. It could be that simple.
There's a more specific fact that food waste in Short Mountain landfill contributes X amount of the carbon emissions or something. I'm sure we can
remember.
Yeah, because it's like if you remove the food waste, like we learned this, right, Karen, in our master recyclers class, if you remove the food waste from the landfill, the carbon emissions goes down. That's the whole point. And if we put it in this other place and it's managed correctly through composting,
yeah, it's better. I have to get going, you guys. I think let's wrap this up. So next steps is Mitra's gonna get back to us on if it's possible to join Wayne County Waste Management. We'll get a vote at the next commission meeting, and then I think there should be one more meeting with this committee to just finalize like what the talking points and survey is gonna be.
Yes, that sounds great. Okay, let's set that meeting if we can.
Also, the ask of the commissioners to volunteer for something.
And ask for people to vote. So how many people do we think we need to get? That might.
It will depend on what Angie does.
Yeah.
So I'll have that more clarification.
Potentially like 2 to 6 or 4.
So the actual home show starts on the 8th. So could we meet on the 7th, or is that too little time to prepare?
That's too little.
Should we try for the 29th of February? Would that work for people?
I'm going to give a full disclosure here, not unlike your own, Mitra. I'm actually out of town on the 7th, 8th, and 9th.
Okay.
Working at Hatfield Marine Science Center, so I won't be available. I'm doing another volunteering thing.
Is anyone available on this committee to table this?
Yeah, because maybe it's not something worth even suggesting if none of us are available.
Yeah, what is it? Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, we could ask.
Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. I don't think it's realistic.
I'm tied up all day Saturday.
Maybe we could suggest Sunday. I might be able to plug in for a couple hours on Sunday, like.
Yeah, and I don't think that it's reasonable to ask somebody to do it the whole day. It should be shifts.
We could do 2 hour, like I could do 10 to 12 on Sunday. And then it's to 5. So if we could find 12, like 1 or 2 more shift people to do a 2.5 hour shift for Sunday. If that works.
Remember again, that to keep it simple, like this, we're just starting to do these kind of things, and the learning curve involved, and we don't need to like go, we're going to be there for 9 hours, let's.
Even 2 other 2 hour shifts would be good.
10 to 2. I think like 10 to 2 on Sunday the 9th or the 10th. you know, might be plenty.
Well, I think they like to have people there the whole time if they're gonna give them the space, like preferably, and is a short day already, just 10 to 5. So if we could find 2 other people, so I'm not sure, maybe we could ask Erin, and I don't know, Karen, would you be available for 2 hours on Sunday at all?
Yeah, I could do that.
Okay.
I could do that, but it would be really, it would be really great to see some of the other people on the committee step up and volunteer, because it seems like the same people are doing the committees and that volunteer to do this stuff. That's all. I don't know.
We could ask for another person from the committee at large.
The commission,
Yeah.
you mean?
It would be great to try to encourage people to
Okay.
do something there. Yeah.
Well, let me first see if
Yeah.
it's a possibility.
I mean, I think that's like, you know, that's just something like tabling is a lot of work, and people have busy weekends and lives, and it is like, I think that's a question that like the commission really needs to consider. Like, sure, it'd be great for the sustainability commission to have a presence at all these different events. It's also just like not realistic to expect that from
Right.
people. So.
And you know what? Here's another idea. Maybe we could create these resources and give them to Lane County Waste Management if they wanted to use them, because I'm pretty sure they're already tabling on the subject. I think food waste is their spring topic of tabling. So I don't know what resources they have, and they are very well resourced. And maybe this is not helpful, or maybe it's an idea we could just, here's a little survey in the doc form, and do you want to bring it and use it? That it could be something as simple as that sometimes, but I'll just have a conversation with Angie and talk to her about it.
Well, and I think the really important follow-up piece is like, how is this information going to get consolidated back to, first of all, the commission, and then summarized for city council? Like, that's closing the loop on this, because otherwise, what's the point?
Well, I think we were already planning on doing a report, so it would just be included in it. I think section of it. Probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too, just reflecting back on our meeting on Tuesday. If you have notes like after, like I know you sent them to Erin, but I didn't get any notes. Did you send them just to Erin or?
I really don't remember.
Okay, I know there was a lot that happened between then, but I think it would be awesome to send them to everyone on this.
I'm pretty sure I sent them to everybody, and if I did, it was probably literally right after.
Like I got anything. That could be a me problem, but because because as the vice chair, we go and give committee updates to council or to Emily Semple and the mayor, right, quarterly.
Mm-hmm.
And like I gave a food waste committee update, and they were so excited about it. And I would love if we did table something like this, even though there needs to be a full report given to council. I could like go, oh, we did this intercept survey at this event, and here's just some points oh, look, a lot of, it wouldn't be numbers. It would just be like, lots of people were really concerned about blah. And because they're just begging us to bring feedback from the community. And it would just be a great opportunity to say, hey, we're gathering some, I think they would really like to see something, even just that I could just say in a sentence,
I'm trying to check my sent mail to see if, I don't imagine I would have just sent it to Erin. But I'll check into that. If I can find those notes, I will resend them out to everybody. But
the last email I got from you was, well, I haven't gotten an email from you this year yet. Okay. The last one I got from you was on 12/20, December 20. So
okay,
I just did a quick search, in the email. So I don't think I received the notes. So I would love those from the last one. And then when you get a chance, and to send the notes from this one, I'll add them to mine. It's just great for those quarterly.
I'm just trying to remember. I have 5 jobs, and I have like 3 different computers, and I don't even know what, I was taking them on, like, what is it, notes or Google Drive or what.
I can ask Aaron to send them to me.
Yeah,
Send them.
maybe he can share them back with everybody because we're.
Yeah.
There it is.
They
I
know
just
how-
found it. I just found it.
Oh,
You
you
found
did?
it?
Yeah.
Am I on there? I don't have it anywhere.
There, I just sent it. It's a Google Doc.
Thank you.
Oh, look at that.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Great.
So does this need to be, oh, I mean, oh yeah, that's good notes. Long, it would be good if this could, I mean, if this could be consolidated into like a 2 or 3 page thing to report back to, you know, council or something. And to the rest
Well,
of the
look,
commission, so that
report-
this doesn't, like, every time there's turnover in the commission, it's like we bring up like food waste and like, it'd be good to just kind of like document.
We will definitely consolidate it into a report before it's
Okay.
presented to council. We're not gonna send them my like
No,
500
yeah,
notes.
I didn't think that.
Yeah. But I think we can basically, once we continue, like, we will send the report at the end of this committee's work.
Yeah.
And so I think we're gonna see what happens with this next segment of like the home show thing. And at the very least, we can say, hey, we've put together some tabling resources that can be used for the education and outreach committee or opportunities that come up about the subject. And here they are, or we're happy to give them to the city or the county or whoever wants to use them to gather information about the obstacles. Because that was the focus of this committee, is to find out, explore what obstacles people are facing when trying to do this composting. So creating a resource that can do that, I think, is very much in the range of this. Okay, we were talking about another meeting. So is the 29th a possibility for folks?
Mhm.
And same time?
Hmm. What other options do you have?
Um,
Can we do a Wednesday?
Wednesdays are harder for me because I have one of my jobs. I work regularly
Oh,
on
I
that.
see.
I'm really sorry, guys. I have 5 jobs. It's really hard to like coordinate.
I know, stop volunteering for stuff.
I
Well,
did.
consider-
I stopped everything but this and the ABAE, but I still have 5 jobs that I worked for money, and that's the hard part. What about Tuesday the 27th? That better, Karen?
No, Thursday will be fine.
And what time?
Thursday I'm available from 10 a.m. onwards.
And
Would
what
10
about Tuesday?
We're going back to Tuesday?
Yeah, what about Tuesday?
At what time?
I don't know, earlier is the better.
Date are we talking about here? Tuesday, the 27th?
7?
Actually, you guys, I feel like I'm not gonna, like, we're presenting to city council and our presentation is due on the Wednesday. Like, we have a bunch of focus groups. It's,
Yeah.
can we do Friday, the March 1st?
I'm presenting at the ELAW conference that day, forget it.
Okay.
Oh, wait, what about, oh yeah,
Monday, the 4th?
Monday, I could do the afternoon at like 2:30. 2 or 2:30.
Okay,
On the 4th?
Does that work?
Am I unmuted? I'm not, I'm mute. On the 4th, you're talking about the 4th,
Yeah.
March, okay. I'm good.
2 o'clock, 2:30 work for everybody on March 4th?
Mhm.
Okay, what's
What-
best?
Danielle,
time?
Maybe 2:30?
2:30? Yep, that works.
Okay. Okay,
okay.
All right, so I'm gonna reach out to Angie and check that out first, and then I'll just email everybody about what she says.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all. I feel really good about this topic and progress and with how it's developing. So thank
Be
you.
kind to yourself, girl.
Oh, someday.
Okay,
Yeah.
bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye, thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you. Have a
you.
good day.